Oh yeah, you do the news docket thing. I need to pull that up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's gone up.
Okay, recording.
Cool. Everyone's recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Char Shot Gamescast. That was a really cold intro.
Yeah, I was just waiting. You had your mouth just open. Like 5 minutes.
Yes, this is the Gamescast. Hello, everyone. My name is Thomas. I'm your host here today, and I've got three lovely folks. I forgot my intro. That threw me off completely. Best friends gather around and talk about the news in gaming. There you go. I got it. First up here, I've got with me is Justin.
Hi.
All right, moving on. I don't know.
I don't want to forget anything, so just keep it simple.
We've also got Lo.
Hey, everyone.
And we also got Ben, the self-proclaimed marvelous one. Ben, you called him the marvelous one, like legit, on your
I
show
didn't.
this week. Yeah, you did. I
Can't
listened to
prove
it. Hey Ben, how's it going?
Hello, everybody. Can we hurry up and do the show so I can get back to the MVCI, please? I'm just kidding. I love y'all.
All the games are coming out. Everyone wants to play the games.
It's true. No time to podcast. We have to talk about. No time to talk about games. We have to play games. There we go.
Yep.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm a little hyped. I'm feeling that the Marvel hype is going through me. It's been like that all week. I legit stayed up till 4 a.m. playing MVCI on Tuesday. My body didn't feel good about it, but I'll let Thomas finish.
I'm gonna save you for the end for MCCI because I got a few news stories regarding that we can transfer right into. But I'll start with Justin this week.
Not a lot. A little bit more Mario and Rabbids. I beat where I was stuck on last time and got Rabid Mario, and that dude is awesome. He was kind of goofy. Like, you first get him, and he's just kind of wacky all over the place, and he plays like a banjo or ukulele or something. I don't know. It's weird. And he's just there's this kind of cute little moment with him and Mario kind of recognizing each other as we are both Mario in our own respective ways. And then I went to customize them and unlock a bunch of skills and stuff, because when you get a new party member, they basically start with the number of points to allocate that your party has gotten to that point.
Oh.
So I had over 100 points to allocate, so I could open a lot of stuff all at once. And immediately I saw that his powers were really cool. And so his main weapon is a shotgun blast type thing. It doesn't have as much range as some of the other ones do, but it kind of shoots out in a funnel, and it hits anything in that range. So instead of just oh, that enemy is in that range, I can hit them. It's if they're in, there's no, aiming it. It's just if it's in the range, it hits all of them for as much damage as it would if it hit one. So it's just this huge scattershot thing, and it's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
And the gun I gave him has the vampire ability, which there's basically different elements or powers things can do. Honey makes them stick in place. Bounce makes them fly off in a different direction. Fire makes them run around like crazy, and anyone else they hit also catches on fire. Things like that. Vampire is like a health stealing thing. So basically, he has this big shotgun blast that does vampire damage. So anything in that range, if it gets a crit, it sucks all of their health away. Well, it's about half of the health you deal. But the first time I used them, the first actual attack, I blew up a bunch of the the blocks that these enemies were hiding behind, and then it crit on all three of them. So I got
oh, wow.
I hadn't even taken damage yet, but I got 80 damage back in vampire, and killed two of them outright. I was man, he's so strong. This is awesome. Nice. So yeah, the game's getting hard. As you get more abilities, it gets exponentially harder to match or exceed. So I just got into an enemy type that has to be flanked. It's like the kind of the close range melee types, but they have this big shield, so you can't shoot them from the front. It automatically does 0 because it thinks they're behind cover. And in this map, you have to literally go all the way around. You have to kind of get down off your starting platform, get around to where the tunnel is, go through the tunnel and up around to the back of them. But if you don't have someone on both sides, they just turn around to face you.
Oh.
So it's like I finally got up to where I could get to them, but you only have 3 party members, and 2 of them died before I got there because it was really hard. And so I couldn't flank. Like I literally could not win because I'd try to get up close, and he just turned around to face me.
Damn.
So yeah, it's gotten really hard. But I'm trying to stick with it. And I played a little bit more Octopath. Not really anything to report there because it was the same as before, just kind of more battles and things like that, getting used to the system and everything. But it's still fun. And mostly I played Metroid. I've gotten a lot of that done. I gave my brother his copy over the weekend, and we just kind of sat down and played together.
Oh.
And it reminded me how like he's really smart. Like he's much smarter than I am. And like he always did better in school and everything, but he does not understand simple puzzles.
No.
Because like he'll go through like if he's by himself, he'll be able to figure it out. Like he would go through a lot of the Zelda shrines, like Breath of the Wild, and he would figure out ones that I couldn't figure out. But then he'd be on this really simple one, and I think just because I'm there to like support him, he'll do a little bit, and then like he won't be able to figure it out. He's like, "How do I complete this?" I'm like, are you kidding? This is the easiest thing ever. He's like, "Oh, duh." But then like I wouldn't see him for a while, and I'd come back and he's like completed every shrine. Like he had no problems completing any of them. And I'm like, what is this inconsistency here? So yeah, with Metroid, like I was already up to area
he's
like
just
3
teasing
or 4.
you. That's all.
Probably. He's just relying on me because I'm usually further than he is. But I was already to area like 3 or 4, and I handed him his copy, so obviously he was just starting. And so every like 5 minutes or so, he's like, "What do I do here?" I'm like, You can literally climb on ceilings. Figure it out. Or like, it's like, "What do I do here?" I'm like, "You have an ability that lets you see secrets. Use it." Like just stupid little stuff. So yeah, I spent a lot of time helping him, through the beginning parts of the game. But now, like I've played through quite a bit more. I'm toward the end. I'm in like there's like kind of a final, well, not a final boss, but like a boss that gets you your final upgrade, and it is so hard. It's not a Metroid. Like there's a few bosses that aren't Metroids in the game, and this is one that you've had like you interact with a few times in the game. Like you never actually directly fight. Like you see it and kind of have like some stuff around it.
Is it
like,
Ridley?
puzzle related? No. And it's actually really cool. Like I love the battle. It's just really hard, and I can't do it.
Yeah, please don't spoil it because I haven't.
No, I'm not going to. But it's like it's a multi-stage thing, and like I went in not knowing that there was going to be a boss in that room, and especially not a a non-Metroid boss. And so I run in like half health, and suddenly I'm being attacked. I'm like, "Oh crap!" and I died immediately. And then I tried to get a little bit more health, go back in again, and like I've done it like 3 or 4 times now, and I've gotten a little bit further every time, but it's tricky. It uses like everything you have at the moment, which is everything but one item. So after I finish that, I've just got a few more Metroids to take out. I think I've got like 3 left, and then the end of the game, which I hear they added some stuff to the end of this game, kind of like they did with the Zero mission. So I'm really excited to see like what's at the end, but I've tried not to spoil it for myself or anything. But yeah, this game is amazing. Like I know I mentioned it last week, but I had only gotten maybe an hour or 2 in then. Like now I'm close to the end, and like I can't put it down. But it's like I'm not sure how it's going to hold up long term. I think I had mentioned this like outside of the podcast, but like the best Metroid games, quote unquote, are the ones that like can be speed runned. I don't know, speed runned very fast, like Super Metroid, where people have gotten it down to like a 40-minute run, and they'll just do that regularly, or like even Metroid Fusion, which has a lot more like linearity than Super Metroid does. Like people have figured out how to do, hour runs of that game. Which I had actually gotten pretty good at back in the day, but I can't do it anymore. Now it takes about 3 hours for a decent run of that game. But like this one, it's very linear. Like, you go through an area, you beat all the Metroids, it opens up the next area. Pretty much in every area, you kind of like when you first get there, you're like grabbing the new upgrades, and then you use those upgrades to get to the areas that the Metroids are in, and then when you beat them all, you go on. And there's like I think 7 or 8 areas in total, and each one has anywhere from like 1 to 10 Metroids in it. So there's not really any way to like, sequence break or anything in this game. So it feels a lot more like a Metroid Prime game or something like that, where it's very objective based. You go one thing to the next, you get your upgrades, you do what it tells you to do, and then it kind of unlocks the next area. And so like, while I personally love that because it means the game is a lot longer, on average it's like 10 to 13 hours for a run, which is really long for a Metroid game.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure how it's going to hold up with like the hardcore Metroid fan base in the future, because it kind of lacks that key element of like what makes Metroid classic. Like, fans are still going to love it. I love it. I'll play through it again just to like play it. But like, kind of the long game of Metroid is like the speedrunning community, and I was just kind of thinking about that because like it doesn't really bode well for that. So it's really going to be for like maybe Let's Players with 3DS capture cards, or just fans that want to play through the game multiple times while we wait for Metroid Prime 4, because that's going to happen.
It is happening.
Things like that. So no, I mean, like, I'm going to do that. Like,
I know.
I'm going to, yeah. But that's a bit of a shame, because I think there's merit to that, like the speedrunning community. There's merit to that as far as like the longevity of a game, how it holds up over time, things like that. But it doesn't diminish the quality of the game by any means. It's just like you kind of have to think about that tail when you think about how well a game is going to sell over time.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a shame, but I also don't mind, because they can craft a better game when they kind of like guide you along a little bit better without actually guiding you. Because there's no dialogue in the game except in the very beginning when it kind of opens up. But it has that way of like, you get to a new area, there's really only one or two ways you can go, which gets you to the different upgrades. And then like, you can kind of get the Metroids in whatever order, because pretty much you get the upgrades first. So then you just kind of go anywhere else. So like, there's a little bit of faster, like there's some times where like I would get like one Metroid and then realize I can't go any further. And then I would end up getting an upgrade that would have let me go past that. So it's like, if you just get the upgrade first, you can get all of those Metroids in that line. And so like, you can speed it up a little bit, but it's still, I don't imagine anyone can beat it in under like 7 to 8 hours, like a fast run. So yeah, that's just one thing I was thinking about and wanted to bring up, but that's most of my gaming stuff. So,
all right. Lo, you've been playing some more Fortnite?
Yeah, I've been playing some more Fortnite. That's definitely what I've been playing. Pretty much all of it, really, because I've been ever since I got the whole streaming stuff figured out in OBS, I've been just kind of testing it out with Fortnite. I figured it was a good game to stream. So yeah, it's funny because I have OBS Classic and Studio installed, so I'm kind of like figuring out both at the same time, kind of figuring out like what's different between the two. Like, Studio is cool and everything. It's just I don't know. There's something about the Classic that I don't know. I was just kind of getting it a little bit quicker. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Studio just never ran for me properly. It always crashed. I can never get it to run. That's like my main issue. If I can't use it, then it's useless to me, right?
Yeah. But I mean, there's stuff that you can do in Studio that you can't do in Classic. Like, for example, I believe Restream. That's one thing you can do through Studio that you can't do in Classic. As far as I know. I'm not sure if there's a way to do it.
I think you can do it. I used to do it a while back. The one thing that you can't do in Classic that you can do in Studio is transitions, which is really cool, like swipes and fades and stuff.
I was wondering about that. Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. I really enjoyed using that. I've got XSplit now, so like I have all those tools to me, and it runs and it works. Like it's great.
Nice. Yeah, I've never tried XSplit. I've heard good things, but I've never actually tried it before.
You just have to pay for it, pretty much. That's it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Gotta
pay for it.
But yeah, more. You've been playing more Fortnite.
Just other than that, just a bunch of Fortnite. And then other than that, I played a little bit of PUBG earlier with you guys, and my first kill of the game was somebody on my own team. I'm sorry, Justin. I'm sorry.
How about that? After I killed the guy you were shooting at, might I add.
Everything. I'm the worst.
It's all blur. I can't tell.
I get startled so easily, and then it's just whatever. Shoot! It didn't matter that he was already dead. I was like, no, I'm totally hitting this guy with my bullets. And then friendly fire in all big red letters. I'm like, what do you mean? Oh no.
If everyone's
it's funny,
dead,
'cause
no one can
before
kill me.
Before you
In
got into the
Soviet,
call,
in Soviet Russia, low shoots you.
before you got in the call, I was telling Thomas, I was like, man, I haven't played with Low since that time when we all hit the roofs and just went flying. This is gonna be fun. And then you killed me.
I was like, yeah, it's been a while since I played with the guys. This is gonna be great. We're gonna win. Oh man.
I mean, we held our own. You gotta admit, I got 2 kills in the first 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
You got 2 kills by the end.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I died in a hail of bullets in the bathroom.
Thomas died in the first 5 minutes, like usual. It was.
Hey, I hurt that guy that you
think,
killed a lot.
I think Thomas dies on purpose at the beginning to so that we get better. He's like, nah, now they can win with me. Let's see him win without me.
He doesn't need the practice.
I just get bold. I chase people and shoot them.
Oh man, but yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. Really, probably end up playing some more Fortnite. Not their battle royale mode because it's just kind of there.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on into Ben then.
Yeah, what about me? What have I been doing this week that I've not been tweeting about for the past 72 hours? I'll get to that game last. Zero, I've been playing Metroid Samus Returns, and it's fantastic. When I play it, I don't want to stop. I just want to keep exploring every nook and cranny, and I think the 3D is all right. I don't think it's amazing. I do like the sort of depth of field, especially in certain situations where you'll run into an area and you'll see things in the background, like machinations moving around. That stuff is cool. But overall, the gameplay is really tight. I really love the parry mechanic. It's so badass. I'll bait fuckers to come at me. Come on, bam, you're dead. In Metroid previously, you'd be, unless an enemy was particularly in your way, you could just run past them, and that's just how it was. But now I go out of my way to fight them, even if it is technically wasting time. I'm just like, come on, bring it, you're dead. Although there's one enemy I've seen that can't kill. It's like a rock enemy that it's all gray and shit. But whatever. The boss fights are fun. The Metroid fights are repetitive, but they're still fun. They're so satisfying, especially when I love when you parry them. You get that cinematic of just either with the tiny Metroids, their belly are exposed, but with the big spider creepy looking Metroids, you hop on their back and you're riding them cowboy style like that. That was awesome.
I never parry, so I don't see that.
Okay, it's so good. Try it next time. Because the window's there. Although, I found myself pressing it too early just because I'm I'm scared.
Right.
But it's so great, and the Aeon abilities are really, really great. I was worried that the one that reveals hidden secrets would kind of take away certain aspects of Metroid, but it's just a better version of the radar from Super Metroid, and I'm glad I don't have to power bomb everything to find if something's there or not. It's such a quality of life thing, and I'm just thank God. Really
Plus,
enjoying
there's no map rooms, so it's the only way to reveal the map other than going into.
Yeah, you're actually, you're right. I just realized there's not a single map.
Yeah,
room.
so it's actually useful because if you're just curious, you can hit it real quick, and it only gives you that block of rooms. That's it.
Yeah, but it's really good. And to me, maybe I don't like the fact that it's because I can explore what's over here. Oh wait. The room goes longer than you expect. Last I just left off, I have the wave beam now, so I'm at that point to give you anybody context who's beaten the game by now because I know people have. But it's really good. It's really good. Also, I played just actually before we started recording. Pokken, the Pokemon tournament, Pokken Tournament DX, officially has out on Switch as of this recording, and I got my copy in and I played it and. I didn't play Pokken at all on the Wii U because one, it was coming when it originally came out at a bad time, and when I saw all these new characters are coming out, but not for the Wii U, I was like, well, what's the point of getting it then? There's no point. So it's a new game. To me, it's a new game. It has several new Pokemon, including Decidueye, that ghost bird from Pokemon Moon. It adds Caesar. It adds Nocturne monster thing. I don't know. Like I know I play Pokemon, I don't even know half of them. I have to look at it, but it adds new characters. And
does it have Scyther?
Not Scyther, but Caesar, his evolved evolution form, the metal one. Yeah,
no,
Caesar.
No, this is a failure of a game.
But it's really I only played 2 matches. I really just did the tutorial where like I did so I know because I'm gonna main the Ghost Bird. Something inside me told me when because Decidueye wasn't in the original release and he wasn't in the when our Japanese arcades are getting updates. So he's brand new to this exclusive. Probably as a hey, we kind of fucked up on you guys. Here's this other character.
It was like 5 new characters, I think, that weren't DLC, right?
Right, but Decidueye is the only one that wasn't released in Japanese arcades.
Oh, okay.
Is what I'm saying. Yeah, so he's sort of like we're sorry. Here's an extra character as well. But Decidueye is interesting because like he has like a hover ability. He has like a little mini teleport. Like it's like if you love Pokemon, you might like this. The combo structure is not complicated. It's pretty much Y, forward Y. It can be tricky to time certain more complicated combos, but for the most part, it's pretty instinctive. Like at a basic level, you're gonna have fun, and it looks gorgeous. I've only played 2 online matches, so I can't really tell you the net code, but I found matches really quickly in those 2 times, and I'm 1-1, so there's that. So you know, I'm gonna me and my Ghost Bird. I'm gonna go Evo with the Ghost Bird, with the Clown Girl, and I don't know what other video games are gonna enter. Oh yeah, Rashid when I go to Street Fighter 5. But yeah, Pokemon's fun. I want to play it. I want to play it because after playing it for these just 40 minutes, it's like okay, I could see myself playing this more. But then there's this other game. This other game that came out this past Tuesday. I don't know if you heard about it, guys. It's a little indie project called Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, released by an unknown studio called Capcom. You may have heard of it. So yeah, it's finally out. The hypest fighting game series of all time, with the weakest roster of all time. I'll go ahead and say about the story because I officially have beaten story mode. I'm not going to spoil it because I know Justin has intentions of buying it, and there's some pretty cool moments that I don't want to spoil anything because they're like, you deserve to see it blind. One thing I will say disappointing about the story mode is that you don't really get that meeting of meeting for the first time. One of the best part of combo crossovers is like that initial meet when character A meets character B and they've never interacted with each other, and you get that. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and this is the first time it's ever had a full story mode, robs you of that. You're joined 90 days into the they call it the convergence when Ultron Sigma has merged the 2 realities together. Oh, and they already know each other, and it's kind of like in the first. I mean, that story demo that was released after E3, that's the opening scene. That is that's how the game starts. With like, and I was like, well, that's
weird.
Yeah, that was like
it's kind of lame.
Wow. Yeah, it's like again, there's a lot of so Arthur, how are you doing? I am doing well, Mighty Thor. There's a lot of that, but there's some really great call moments, like Frank West, is that his name?
Yes,
Frank West.
Yeah, Frank West. He does like I've covered wars, he does his famous line. Like there's some nice, fun little moments, like collaborative moments. There's some cool set pieces. There's some nice twists, especially a thing involving Thanos, which again I won't say because it's kind of like, excuse me, wait, what? The ending's kind of a little like, well, we're done here. Who wants pizza?
Can you do your Frank West again for me, please?
I've covered wars,
This sounds more like Christopher Walken than Frank West.
I'm not even trying. That's how he sounds, at least to me in the game.
Okay.
As for the game itself, right? Now, I'm a huge fighting game fan, but one of those games I've not played a lot of is Marvel vs. Capcom, namely because it's crazy. And whenever I would play it, the people they usually come in late. Like, I got Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I got bodied online, and it was at a point where I wasn't willing to put time and effort into learning things, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I can't even touch. You get touched, you die. And that was even more so true in UMVC 3. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, while I'm not great, it definitely, I wouldn't I wouldn't say it's welcome to newcomers because when you go online, you fight somebody who knows what they're doing, you're gonna get hurt a lot. But I will say they do add some things to make things easier. Like I was telling Lo before we started streaming that if there's a small tip for if you want to play Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and you think, well, I can't do cool shit. Yes, you can. Press buttons. Here's a simple little combo that gets you started. You've probably seen earlier in it. You do light punch, light kick, heavy punch, heavy kick, down heavy punch. And I say down heavy punch because that's your launcher. And it's a universal launcher for everybody, so it works with everybody. Other characters have things that other moves can launch, but if you just want a basic thing, that'll get started. That'll launch, and then repeat that same sequence, and then like add a special move and just see what works. The one thing I will tell you with Marvel, experiment. Press the F out of buttons and tag. You can in previous Marvel vs. Capcom games with assists, an assist would only like in the very first one, the Marvel vs. Capcom 1, you would have assists that were numbered. Like you could only use them a certain amount of times.
Right.
In 2, they would only come and do one action. They were certain type, and the same thing in 3. This time, you can tag almost whenever you want. Oh. So I could do, and this is one of my favorite combos. I can do light kick. I can do a combo with Ryu, and I do Tatsu, tag into Captain America, and then do his super. Ryu goes out, tag back in, and then do super Tatsumaki Senpuku, and just do it, and it works. And then
nice.
And trust me, you will do cool shit. You may not be doing some like expert stuff, but you still will. If you want to do cool stuff in Marvel, it's there for you. And the only thing I haven't really touched on is the stones, because like it's now you have again.
You don't want
it's
to
all
touch
based
the
on
stones.
Yeah, you have reality, power, space, time, gem, and soul. Each of them provides a different property. Right now, everybody online is using a reality because it's ridiculous.
Is that the one that boxes you in?
No, that's space.
Okay.
That's the one I like to use. Reality gives you a reality sort of when like they each have like 2 different types. So like each stone will have like a base thing that it does. Like the Mind Stone can do a command grab. Like you can just, anybody gets a command grab and it doesn't bounce you can do OTG. OTG means off the ground attack, and you can do the combo and stuff like that.
Oh, that's crazy.
So you can lead into that, and it gives it to everybody. And you know, the Time Stone gives you a command dash, and they each have an Infinity Surge, which sort of amplifies it. So like the best example is the Soul Gem can resurrect people with that shenanigans.
That's crazy.
So like, yeah, if you and not with full health, mind you.
Yeah, just partially.
And then, just partially, and then the Time Stone, the Space Gem can give you like a box, so you can basically put them in a corner, and they have to deal with your shit. They can't run away. It's so much experimentation, and the reason I say that is because just because you see say a Dante and Jeddah, because that's the combination you're going to see a lot of is Dante and Jeddah. Just because you see a Dante and Jeddah using reality, a Dante and Jeddah with the Time Stone or any other stone is so different that you won't know what to do, and you're going to get bodied.
Okay, the reality stone, that's the one that does the projectiles, right?
Yeah, there's like things coming all over the place. So like the only one, from my understanding, that can actually nullify it or deal with it the best is Strider. But you know, other characters, you can deal with it. It just takes a lot to deal with.
Yeah. So just so people know, like when you use the reality stone and you go into like that weird phase where like
Infinity Surge,
any button you press does a projectile at someone. So like shoot fire or shoot ice or whatever. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's pretty nuts. And what I will say is, and for me, if you're curious, my team so far has been Captain America and Ryu. I just love playing as them.
The good old boys.
Exactly. I've been trying to get Mega Man X. Mega Man X is really cool because you can put on his light armor when you have a level 2 or level 1, I think. Nice. And it amplifies his move a little bit. And he actually can cancel his specials into other specials. So I can do a charge shot, and then if you press like say
charge shot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Charge shot.
If I do his charge shot and I press X, it'll do like he'll dash over the Buster move, and you could get an overhead, or you can slide underneath. So you have multiple ways of getting around with X. Unfortunately, I haven't figured everything out yet. He has some very special moves you've seen from the X series. It's fun. Here's what I don't like about this game, though, because I'm not going to be glowing praise about it. I hate the user interface. You know that those early impressions when people were saying that it looks like a mobile game? It looks like a mobile game.
Oh,
like
no.
The one thing that annoys me about this game is how budgeted it looks. Like, say what people will about Street Fighter V, but at least it has a certain visual appeal that when I know what I'm looking at, I'm not looking at something bland. And I'm not even talking about the character models. I'm talking about how like simple UI stuff just looks cheap. And there's not that flair of excitement. Not to mention the characters don't look great. You know, like that, and the roster's limiting. But I will say, at least for what my personal experience, the net play has been fantastic. If this game would have launched like Street Fighter V where nobody could play day one, this game would have been dead. Like I can already tell you right now. I know PS4 users apparently like it's amazing. Like it's to some people who it's almost like you're playing online on like local. Like you're not playing online. Like it's that good. Now, obviously, it can't compensate for a bad connection. You can never really fix those. But if you generally have a good connection, you're gonna have a good time. It's the complete opposite of Street Fighter V, and it boggles my mind.
That's crazy.
And for a game like Marvel, you need to have something like this, and that's the one thing that the last games didn't really have. So I'm really glad online feels mostly buttery smooth. There's a couple of issues where I ran into some matches that felt slow, but nothing was really laggy, which is what I'm sure it's only going to get better as we go along. But like as a whole package, while its shortcomings are there, once I get into the game and I'm trying to do crazy shenanigans, MVCI is fun at its core, but there's a lot of stuff I'm not happy with. I mean, the roster we've beaten down to death, but it's up to me actually looking at the UI, like it needs a whole UI overhaul, like something, because it just looks bland. Although I do like in the title screen, you can switch. It starts off with 2 characters. Like I can't remember exactly who it starts off with, but you can customize that to be your 2 characters who you play as. So like for me, I have Captain America and Ryu, and you can even change their colors like to reflect your team.
Nice.
Like always. So that's a nice little touch. But yeah, if you want to buy MVCI, buy it. It's fun. Just get ready to get bodied online if that's your intent. Learn to practice, try crazy shenanigans, and the UI and overall art design is not great. But I could not stop playing it till 4 a.m. on Tuesday the Tuesday night it came out. 4 a.m. Wednesday morning rather.
How's Chun-Li's face?
Chun-Li's face is a lot better. She's actually one of the characters I play because she's crazy. Chun-Li is just like in your face rush down, and I'm just like, yes, give me that.
I just remember you guys were like harping on her face from a couple.
No, they fixed her face quite a while.
It did look pretty bad.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot better now. Like if you look at the final game now, it's a lot better. But Morgan's face, on the other hand, ugh.
Oh, really?
How's Spider-Man's body?
Oh God, Spider-Man almost has no neck.
Really?
Spider-Man.
I saw they use like the same like body model they used for like Chris Redfield, but for Spider-Man.
Yeah, Chris Redfield's dirt face the entire way through.
What?
Like he just looks confused.
I'm trying to picture like Chris Redfield's body on Spider-Man now. Oh,
yeah. Also, Hagar has no neck. Literally, he has no neck. But go buy it. Go buy it. I'm happy that we live in a world where there's a Marvel game and a DC game, and they're both fucking amazing. And I never thought I would say that. So there you go. That's all I really have to say about MVCI. I feel like I've talked too much already.
Only 15 minutes of talk about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite? Surely you have more. I'm sorry. Is he this, Tim?
I was waiting for something. Like that.
I can get into more Ys, but there's really not much there to talk about. Like, I think like there's a few things that have improved since then. Like the combat has gotten a lot better. They've actually varied up like the locations now. I finally got like once I got through the grasslands and the caves, I got into a swamp, and that actually like changed up the environments quite a bit. Like now attacks actually matter skill points actually matter. So that's really cool. I got to a point where it changed perspective on characters. So like, there's a lot more story development happening. The one thing I didn't talk about last time that I'll talk about now is just the translation issue. It's not terrible, but it's just like very bland and like very anime, like an anime that came over here and people just put in like the B- effort into just making sure it works. And it's not like atrocious. Like comparing like Persona 5 to this is like what, like it's like apples and oranges, like cookies and like sour cream.
What?
That's just where my brain went. I don't know. I've had a cider, guys. A hard cider, guys. No, I'm good. Yeah, but other than Ys, I'm playing that for review. Once I'm done that game, I'll write one up. I'm like halfway done written the review. I just need to keep finishing it and complete it. Other than that, just played PUBG with you guys just that one time. Playing more Prey. I think I've talked about Prey on this podcast already, so I won't go more into it. But finally digging the combat. It's not as hard as like it initially is once you get it down. You just goo enemies and then whack them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like there's not a lot happening over here. Other than that,
I feel like you should whack enemies before they go.
That's what I was thinking.
You goo on them and then you whack them. It's a whole thing.
You gotta get them sticky first.
Yeah.
All right,
I get that. That makes sense.
And then they get hard and like they freeze. Makes them easier to whack.
You have to get your monsters sticky before you whack them. That's like in the instructions for like how to play the game.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that. I finally have a wireless controller for my setup, so like now I can lean back and play with my controller without having to worry about the wire getting all screwed up, which is cool. Yeah, so like Justin said, let's head on into the news.
News too.
All right. Building on to the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite talk, there's a couple things here. First off, we'll just talk about the new I was gonna say the new monsters, but the new characters, the new fighters coming to MVCI. We got Monster Hunter, which I don't know if they showed off what Monster Hunter is, but they got a Monster Hunter character.
They have. There is a reveal trailer for Monster Hunter and a demo of what she can do because it is a female Monster Hunter.
Is it like just the generic like avatar for the Monster Hunter?
No, just they can have another female character.
Yeah, pretty much. But she looks really freaking cool. I'm pretty sure she's wearing Rathalos armor. I think that's the thing Monster Hunter people know, so I'm gonna say Rathalos.
I think those are like the starter enemies. I've killed a couple of those. Winter Soldier, Black Widow, and Venom later this year.
Cool. Also, Sigma and Black Panther, but those are confirmed a while ago.
Okay. So yeah, look forward to that.
Sigma's one of the main villains, though, isn't he?
What?
Isn't Sigma one of the main villains? Shouldn't that be a given?
No, he should be. He should have been arguably.
He should have been, yeah.
He's in the story mode, it's Ultron and Sigma fused as one. So you in the story mode, you never fight them separated. It's always together. There's a cutscene with them together, but I'm guessing all Sigma has a different moves that they probably didn't have enough time to put in the base game.
Welcome to 2017.
Yeah, but contrary to popular belief, people are saying this is day one DLC. There is no day one DLC for MVCI. These characters are not available to purchase as of yet. So I hear.
I was just gonna say one of the characters I would want to beat up on is Sigma. So
yeah, no, trust me, you get to beat him up on playing in the story mode, especially in this one certain sequence. But I just kind of got annoyed with like media reporting, like Capcom's being shit for day one DLC. I'm like, they're not doing day one DLC, guys. It's not out. Like maybe probably give it a month or two. So, but it'll be there. But all these characters are supposed to come out before the year's over, which is kind of crazy.
All right. Another piece of news we got here, which is kind of cool, or it's kind of shitty, really. But like, The monster not the Monster Hunter. I got Monster Hunter on the brain for some reason. The MVCI Collector's Edition, like that came with the Infinity Gems. Did you guys see the picture of that?
I might have seen something like that. Yeah.
Well, they showed the marketing materials for it, and it was like bright shiny like gems that are in this like suitcase kind of thing, like a gem, like a jewelry case thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they really turned out to be kind of looking like bright colored Easter eggs.
They're real bad.
It's really bad. I just thought, oh man, I would be so pissed if I paid like $100 or $150 or something.
$200.
$200. 200 American dollars.
Not to mention, there's also statues. The statues are even worse because if you look at the statues that were advertised, and there's a close up of a Captain Marvel statue, the statues are even worse because at least the Infinity Stones, they glow in the dark, and yeah, they're Easter eggs, but they actually look like they're how they are in the comics and actually in the game itself. That's dumb for like I don't know why they look like that in the promotional material. The statues are the worst part. That's what sucks about this.
That's 246 Canadian dollars. That's insane.
That's a steal. Like they're stealing from you. That's what I meant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just want to touch on that because like I saw that photo and that it just fucking blew my mind. Another piece of hot fighting news is that Raiden's joining Infamous 2, and there you go.
I think you mean that Black Lightning is joining Infamous 2.
You mean Raiden's wearing Black Lightning's skin?
Can we talk about that amazing super though?
That is a really cool super.
Like, real talk, that was the hypest thing I've seen in Injustice yet. I mean, next to the Flash, obviously. If you haven't seen it,
I haven't seen it yet.
He actually fights with the Mortal Kombat dragon is just pretty ridiculous.
Oh wait, it's the Mortal Kombat dragon eats the guy, right?
Yeah, he flies up to the moon. He flies you up to the character's opponent to the moon, and then like he goes, he won't go because Raiden just shouts nonsense, and then like you see the Mortal Kombat dragon form in the moon out of electricity, and then it attacks the opponent, and it's just like, oh my god, that was so sick.
I need to take a look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Also,
like,
Black Lightning.
Like that looks like a fatality type thing, but when does that happen? Like when are supers?
When you press the two trigger buttons, I think it's not a fatality.
Yeah, it's the shoulder buttons, right?
Yeah, it's
okay. So that's like
it's a super move.
Isn't that what it is a super?
That looked like a fatality though. Like
how? How
does that not happen at the very end of the game?
I mean,
because he freaking eats the guy.
No, he doesn't. He falls into the ground. He just consumed the electricity. Doesn't eat him. It's made out of electricity. It's not a real dragon.
It's comic books, guys.
There you go.
There you go.
Either way, I gotta see
Explain away just by saying comic books.
Yeah, check it out, Lo. It's pretty great.
Let's move on into. This is actually pretty cool. This is kind of a big deal. It got picked up by PC Gamer, I think. Build your own Zelda. So there's a 2D open source Zelda game engine built on C++ called Solaris. I don't really know too much about it. I know Justin's got his brother that has worked on one of the games called Zelda Book of Medora.
Yeah, Book of Medora.
Yeah. So you want to take over and talk about this one?
Yeah. My brother actually has helped with this engine quite a bit over the years. He's been good friends with Christopher. I mean, obviously online, but good friends with Christopher, who's the creator of this maker, for probably close to 10 years now. Because when this originally started as Solaris was a game. It was kind of codenamed Solaris, made in this engine that was not really. It was I think it was built on Game Maker, and he had done a bunch of stuff to it, and created this Zelda Solaris game, kind of on a heavily modified version of the Game Maker engine. And it just wasn't able to do what he wanted it to do. So Christopher kind of branched out and took the base of what his Solaris game was and kind of built this engine from the ground up for his Solaris game. And then as he was as he was developing the game, he made the tools available to everyone else that wanted to do them, just kind of as like a community thing. There's the Zelda Fan Game Central, is this big Zelda fan game community forum, and my brother's been a member on there for as long as I can remember. I was a member on there briefly when I was helping him out and like doing some story work for people and stuff like that, because I don't make games, but you know, I've got ideas of how to help people. And so they were all kind of working together on this stuff. The Solaris engine was kind of coming up and like in its infancy then. And now, like 10 years later, the C++ based engine has like actually kind of it's not technically official release, I guess. But like it's in a complete form where people can just use it and make their own Zelda games on it. And like over the years, as my brother has been making his Zelda fan game, he's had random things that he kind of wanted to be able to do, and he'd like work the code in weird ways to like make it do what he wanted. Like he had some stuff with like ambient lighting, where it was like, you know, the kind of like a lantern effect, where it's like it creates a cone of light around your character or around like whatever torch you lit, things like that. Like everything else would be fog. Like that wasn't there at first because you have to have some different layers and like some lighting effects, like kind of complicated particle effects and things like that. And that all was added into the engine because he kind of like created workarounds. And Christopher was like, "Oh yeah, we can make this easier." Nice. And some items have been included over time, like the hook shot and stuff, which was going to be added, but my brother had kind of figured out how to work these things into the existing engine through like complicated coding of like, you know, when this sprite makes contact with this sprite, it like moves this sprite and that kind of thing. And then again, Christopher was like, "Oh yeah, we can simplify that script and make it into something that the engine can do by itself." So things like that, he's kind of like helped him along the way to make this engine like better. He obviously like he was not on the specific coding side. Like that's all Christopher. He's made this all on his own. I'm kind of proud of the fact that like my brother's kind of been working with him for 10 years or so to like polish some awesome features of things that should be added to it, which I think was really cool.
Yeah.
And my brother finally released his Zelda fan game last year in like a 1.0 version. He still works on it.
Nice.
I can't get him to stop working on it, even though he finally released the 1.0. It's done. There's 8 dungeons, full story included. Everything is done. But then he'll be like, "Oh, I had this idea, and I just put it into the game." Like, stop. So yeah, like it isn't a 1.0 like completed version. He always gets kind of nervous when things like this become like get bigger headlines and stuff, because like his engine is named, or his game is name dropped in this article about the engine. Well, it'll be in the show notes. You guys can read it if you want. But he's always worried that like with things like that, fan games are constantly getting taken down.
Yeah.
But Zelda or Nintendo hasn't really touched on the Zelda market that much.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of Zelda fan games out there. Most of them are unfinished, and I think that's why they haven't been touched. But still, it's a huge thing. Like that's why this engine is being made.
Yeah.
And if anything, I could see the engine maybe getting a cease and desist, because there was that one that was like a Zelda maker, like around the time when Mario Maker was big, and that got cease and desisted, and they just kind of retooled it and put a Kickstarter out there to make I think it was called Legend Maker. Like they got rid of all the Zelda assets, completely redid all the sprites and stuff, and now it's like a viable product that they can sell. But this is literally just like it uses different Zelda assets. You can load in your own sprite or tile sheets and things like that. My brother's made a bunch of custom ones for his game, or modified, other game sprites, things like that. But you can load in whatever tile sets you want and stuff, kind of like an RPG Maker type thing. So, I mean, technically it's within Nintendo's rights to stop it. But I don't see them necessarily taking down individual games that are made in it. And they're all like actual, standalone executables. Like you don't have to have Solaris installed in order to play the games that are made in Solaris. You just open that exe and it, pulls up the game and has your save files and everything like that. But yeah, like I do kind of get worried when things like this get publicity, but also like if they don't, how do more people know about them?
Yeah, it's like
So it's-
AM2R, right? Like as soon as that was released, you had like a day before Nintendo came across.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly. But like this makes me happy because I mean this is on PC Gamer, which Low links to a lot, and like they're a huge name
Yeah.
in the industry. And like my brother has his fan game that me and him have both been working on for like 10 years. Name dropped in this article about an engine that he has kind of helped like bring to fruition over the last few years. Like I linked this to him when you put it in the docket, and he was like, "That's so cool!" Like, and then
So
he
cool,
voiced that he
yeah.
was kind of worried that it might lead to some unwanted attention.
Does he have to fight over all? Does he have to fight off all the fans now?
Probably not. I mean, we had gotten some publicity for it beforehand. Me and a few others, and like in the community, had done some let's plays and stuff of the
Nice.
demo version back in the day. And I've tried to publicize it whenever possible. So like, I don't necessarily think we should link to that in the show notes because that could be dicey. But it is out posted on and everything. So like, it is really cool that this is in there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like I think this like it's cool that this is getting publicity, but I'm still a little worried about it.
Yeah.
And I believe, just to not make this all about my brother, like I think Christopher's game is actually out now too. Like an official form. I'm not sure. Because right now it's Mystery of Solaris DX. He's changed the name for it.
Okay.
But it looks like it is finished. It took him like 5 years to do that.
Oh, wow.
The reason it took my brother longer is because he started an RPG maker. Literally,
wow.
like something that is not built for Zelda games, and figured out ways to like make that like wrap around that engine, like use different modded things that people would put out for like like action swordplay and stuff. And then moved it over to Game Maker, and then Solaris when that became viable for other people to use. But yeah, so just know that this exists, but also keep it quiet to Nintendo if you don't mind.
Keep it secret.
Don't
Keep
go
it
blabbing
safe.
to Nintendo, please.
Yeah, it's a secret to everybody.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. A game that was a secret to everybody, Battleborn. Because no one played it. I guess not. Yeah, so Battleborn is getting their last update here. I think this game came out like what, a year? It came out a year ago.
So
yeah, around Overwatch. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's why.
Yes, they're getting their last update. Servers. They said the servers are still going to remain intact. Like they're not turning off the servers. But you're going to get your last update coming this fall. After this fall, there won't be any more battle plans and no more planned content. So the story of Battleborn has come to a stop.
Unfortunate.
I still haven't played it, even when they put it free to play. When they gave it away as a Games for Gold, I still haven't. I have no inclination to play that game.
Pour your 40 out for Battleborn.
Yeah.
Don't pour a whole 40 out.
I'll pour it into my mouth.
Thing, yeah.
That's more expensive than how much this game is made.
Okay, one.
Whoa!
Zing!
Wow.
God damn.
Savage.
Finish him.
No mercy.
Ben, were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say just pour one out for your homies, and then take the rest for yourself.
You know what I would like to see though, because the IP for Battleborn it was always really interesting to me. It was like one of those games I'd install it for a while, play through some of the actual story, not so much the online stuff. I'd like to kind of see them sort of like weave it into like maybe Borderlands or something, because they got different planets things going on. So they just have a lot of cool characters in the game.
It was more like a MOBA, wasn't it?
Kinda. It was like a MOBA shooter type.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like MOBA like modes, like game modes in it for like the PvP and stuff. But yeah, they were pretty much like essentially those same objectives were pretty much like kind of like the story. Essentially, they just like exposition and voice acting and stuff. I just always liked the voice acting and stuff from Gearbox games and stuff like that. So sad to see it go, but they just kind of released at an unfortunate time, you know.
Yeah, it's true. And Overwatch was just so savage about it too.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. I took a couple steps up from my 40. So yeah, pour one out for him. Moving on to a game that's thriving and well, Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds has finally surpassed Dota 2's all-time concurrent record.
What?
Yes, now their all-time peak concurrent players is 1,462,708.
Decent.
So,
Wow.
congrats.
I guess I should play this game.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
should.
Everyone else is apparently.
You might get shot by me though.
I'm used to friendly fire.
Just shot in the back of the head with an M16. That's fucking...
Oh, I'm sorry, Bam. That's how Lowe's gonna murder Saul. He's just gonna apologize as he does it.
What's
What
the
I like
worst
draw-
is he killed me and then immediately brought me back to life with no health. There were no
Sorry.
like bandages or anything around.
Yeah,
Try-
Justin killed the enemy, and then Lowe's like, "Oh, here's a guy that's still alive. No witnesses."
Except Thomas in spectator mode.
Yeah.
I need to
Anyways.
make a T-shirt now, just me with blood all over my hands. You guys try. I was like, why? I didn't mean to. Friendly fire. It's a real danger.
No, it's a
you
shirt
guys.
that says
Friendly
"No
fire is real.
witnesses," and it's Lowe's face.
On the back of the shirt, it's me being all like, "No witnesses."
Friends don't let friends friendly fire.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. I like that a
It's
lot.
a pretty good one, yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy, friendly fire. That's a son of a bitch.
So yeah, congrats to Battlegrounds, and
Mhm.
with Battlegrounds' success has come the clones, folks.
Mhm.
Let's start off with Project X, which is like the most generic name for anything. There was actually a movie called Project X that was like a handheld camera
Oh yeah.
film.
Wasn't that a dumb party movie?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I've heard it was okay. Yeah, Project X, PUBG clone coming. It features 400 player PvP matches. Game is going to have, this is all we know about it. This game is going to have dynamic weather, roaming wildlife, social hubs, and player-driven story in quotes.
Hmm.
I
Game
like the
is-
idea of a more social shooter game though.
Yeah. Yeah.
like
A
social
lively one.
as compared to like
Well, like, sorry, it's like the idea of something that actually has a more social atmosphere. Like it says the social hubs and like
Mhm.
roaming wildlife makes me feel like it's going to be a more like natural world.
so something
not
kind of
so
like
just like-
a Destiny or what's that? The Division, kind of like that.
Kinda, but with this like 400 person PvP mode.
Yeah, yeah,
Because that's insane.
that's insane.
That is insane.
The game is coming from the UK developer Automaton. Yeah, so Meg is coming back, guys. Remember Meg? Massive action game for the PlayStation 3.
No.
No,
No.
Cricket noise.
that had like
No.
364 players. Like you could all group up. Like you would have different squads, kind of like a military system.
Ah.
Yeah, it was like kind of like the first kind of like massive action game, Meg. So yeah, it's coming back in vogue. Speaking of more PUBG ripoffs, Fortnite. I think I'll save the story and I'll say that after. Yeah. Okay, hang on. This production happening here, folks. So yeah, we all know that Fortnite has been doing the Battle Royale modes. Fortnite is planning to release the Battle Royale mode free to their customers or to their player base
Mhm.
on September 26th, before their core, quote unquote, previously core mode. I don't even know what the core mode is called.
It's called Save the World now.
Oh, really?
It just was Fortnite because when you boot into the game, it's either Battle Royale or Save the World. So
Yeah,
that's
so
just
that-
that's what I'm gonna call it.
Yeah, it's just so weird that like they're doing the PUBG style one first. Like
Yeah. Maybe because it was just easier for him to do. I don't know.
I don't know, it's weird.
It is weird.
Especially like considering like the legacy of what Fortnite was. It was like it was supposed to be like the first like UE4 game, and then it came out years later, and it has this weird like early access to it, but not really. You could buy the game like for $60 on the shelf. But this is so weird.
Epic's doing a lot of weird things.
Yeah.
A lot of weird things.
Speaking of weird things, we've got Blue Hole, the VP, Chang Han Kim, saying that he's concerned about Fortnite's Battle Royale mode, saying that he's going to seek further action against Epic Games, including their Battle Royale mode. I think the main issue here is that they're including the name PUBG and like they're touting the name of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, like connecting it with their game. So they're literally riding the coattails off of like Battlegrounds.
Pretty blatantly, yeah.
And it's very blatant how the game even is, because like instead of like going over the island in like an airship, it's like a bus, and you like jump out the bus.
It's literally a party bus. There's like you can hear music coming from inside. It's weird.
It's crazy.
This is a weird mode.
So
I feel like this is a problem though, because you cannot like there's no real copyright laws with something like this, for one.
Yeah.
So there's not much they could do in court if they wanted to take further action.
It's like a game mode.
Right. And the other issue is, for one, it kind of looks like bad press for them, because they're just saying, sure, we kind of took this mode from something that we made in Hizzy, but they took the mode from us. So like basically they're saying like we copied a mode that we made. They copied a mode we made. It's like, because we didn't make it, it's wrong. Even though they took what they originally made as a mod for another game and turned it into its own game. But no one else can do that. That doesn't really make sense to me either.
Yeah.
No.
Because this happens all the time. Like someone, like Call of Duty and Battlefront. Not Battlefront. What's the other one? Battlefield.
Battlefield.
Yeah. Like those are essentially the same game every year.
Yeah.
But they're competitors. Like that's just how it is.
I don't like the fact that they're if they're actually going for like the actual game mode of just 100 people diving into a map and killing each other, like that's a game mode. Like you can't really it's the majority of that game, but I don't think you can sue over that.
No,
but like actually using their like promotion, or like their name and their promotions and stuff like that, it's kind of that's a little bit more iffy. Like I'm looking forward to all the weird clones that are coming out with this thing.
Yeah.
I was talking like earlier with Lo, how like China doesn't give a shit about any of this kind of stuff. Like they've made so many copies of things over there that it's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like PUBG's like, it's a good game. It's a great game. It's loads of fun to play. It's just not unique enough for them to kind of like say what they're saying, really. Like, oh, they're replicating experience. Okay, it's a game mode. It's,
yeah.
I don't know.
If you see the quotes, they're not really saying much because they can't. Because there's like they're holding their cards to their vest. Like I don't expect anything to really come from this other than Epic Games being forced not to mention PUBG anymore. But it's really funny because Epic Games, guess what kind of engine they make? Unreal Engine 4.
Would it be the Unreal Engine 4, the same engine that PUBG's made in?
Exactly.
It's like, that's the other thing. Like, all these mechanics I'm sure they're already like, they come with like when you download Unreal Engine 4. So it's like, I don't know. It's I don't know. This is it's a very interesting time.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
We'll just have to wait to see like what comes out of this.
But I mean, at the end of the day though, like if I had the option between the two, I'm gonna go with PUBG for this game mode because that's just what I play PUBG for. I
think the real reason they're really going after them, like with the we'll seek further actions, is because it's going to be a free-to-play game next week. and they might be afraid that it's going to take some of their user base away from them, or potential future for player base. But like, if I was PUBG, I wouldn't bat an eye at this. They're too huge now. They've passed Dota.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
that's not a small deal either. It's like, you know, I don't know.
Imagine if Fortnite ends up passing PUBG. That'd be hilarious.
That would be weird, dude. That would be weird.
I would laugh.
I don't know if I can
ass
accept
off.
that.
What?
As much as I like playing Fortnite, I don't know if I can accept that. If that were to happen. I can guarantee you that there are people that are going to go with PUBG over Fortnite just based on the art style alone, too, because that's one thing with like games like Overwatch and Paladins. People are like, oh, I don't like that cartoony looking stuff. I'd prefer my games look, you know, real and stuff. So I don't know. I don't think they have anything to worry about. So we'll have to see, though.
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
All right. Yeah, so moving on from that Fortnite news. This is actually really cool Fortnite news. So I think over the weekend there was a weird glitch that happened where Fortnite players on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were able to play together. And the way they were able to figure that out was looking at the usernames, because PlayStation 4 names can't have spaces in them, but Xbox One can. And they kind of found that out on Reddit, and they tested it, and it actually worked. So that was pretty cool. But then they had to fix that because one of the platforms they're on, Sony, does not allow crossplay. So they had to fix the configuration issue, and now since then it's been fixed.
One interesting thing about this is actually, if you have Fortnite on the PC, you can play with Xbox players and PlayStation 4 players. There's like some weird workaround you can do to, like, if you're a PC, you can join either of them, but like now, well, not anymore. You can't have that Xbox and PlayStation 4 crossplay, which is
it's just like Rocket League, right?
Yeah,
and Minecraft.
Pretty much, yeah.
Epic Games has said that they're in favor for like having the crossplay happen because it doesn't split their user base. Microsoft's in favor of it, but Sony's not. Like it's obvious because they're in the lead. Like the leading platform will always be in the favor of like screwing over their other competitors, right?
Yeah, so it seems like that's for sure.
So it seems like it's easier to have crossplay than not.
Right. Because that's what everybody wants, I feel like. I feel like it's more of a thing that's growing more and more in demand. Like people would want to have their preferred platform, but still want to play with other people.
Yeah, I feel like in the past there might have been like a reason why we're building our own infrastructures or whatever. But nowadays, like we're in 2017 now. Like the internet's everywhere. There's no real reason to have these people blocked off. It's like if we were playing on different PCs. Like if I was using a Dell and you were using an HP, we wouldn't be able to connect. That would be really shitty.
Denied.
Yeah. All right.
I'm just tired of crossplay being like so restricted just because Sony has BS excuses, basically.
Right. Yeah.
It's 2017. Get over it.
Yeah, I mean, they're worried about protecting their player base, but I mean, like, just one interesting thing, just real quick on Fortnite. Just like 3 days after they announced their Battle Royale mode, they released like another update. It's like, oh, this is our code of conduct. Like, don't be shitty to other players, you know, that kind of thing. So it's not like Sony's the only like company concerned about this kind of thing. I mean, I feel like it would be easier if you had two entities working together to kind of like create this sort of like positive like community around these games. And I don't know, it's weird. Again, we're in a weird time. Weird time.
I say it again, and if Nintendo Switch can have crossplay with Rocket League with, you know, PC and Xbox, Sony can suck it up. Nintendo is the masters of like parental controls and like, you know, protecting their user base. If they're okay with crossplay, Sony should be too.
Right.
You gotta protect the children.
Right.
Will somebody please think of the children?
Because that's not their parents' job or anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Oh boy.
All right.
I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that Sony's complacent.
Yeah.
Sony has been the top dog since the PS4 launched in 2013.
Yeah.
Microsoft is still trying to appeal to their user base and still trying to get more people by look at all what we're offering. Look at backwards compatibility. See, we're friendly.
Yep.
I wish I had actually in that instance. I wish I had a webcam so you can see me do like the 40s eyebrow raise. But I honestly think that's what it boils down to. And it sucks that Sony just won't play ball. To me, you're not.
They don't have to.
They're not going to lose any sales. People who have a PS4 are going to buy it for the PS4. It's just a benefit that people who they can play with Xbox players. That's all this is.
I mean, you can use. Sorry, finish your thought.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just even with the crossplay thing, they could use bragging rights as a means to sell it. Like, oh, stick it to those PlayStation guys, represent Xbox, that kind of thing. Or, oh, stick it to those Xbox guys, show what's up with. I mean, just from a marketing aspect, they could like just spin this however they want, so people just. I don't know. It's just like it's
like Splatfest, but like always.
Yeah,
and you think Sony and Microsoft would be up for some friendly, back and forth?
Yeah, exactly.
But because Sony's in the, considering the PS3, they were a joke up until like the second half of that console's lifespan. They're in a much better place now. So they're like, well, we don't have to do anything. You come to us. And I think that's where honestly, that's where all this is coming from. They know they can do it. If you can get freaking Minecraft to play with the Switch and Rocket League to play with the Switch and PC players, heck, Killer Instinct is coming out soon. And it's going to be cross-platform with Xbox One, Windows 10, and Steam. That's not good. Like that's just going to sell you more copies of your game, right? And it's going to get a bigger player base. And people are going to buy it for the console they have. They're not going to lose console sales. I don't know. That could be the only other reason I think is like why somebody's not selling or why they won't do this is because they feel they might lose sales. Like, no. It's not. People are still going to buy it for your console. It's just this way you don't have to guilt your friend into buying a PS3 that you didn't really want in 2011. You didn't really have the money, but you did it anyways so you could play online multiplayer of Assassin's Creed. I'm not speaking from personal experience or anything.
Oh, no, of course not. No.
But like that's just a thing that could happen.
To me, it sounds like if they don't play well with others and like let's assume there's a future where, PC, Microsoft, like Nintendo, like they all play together. Like everything is cross-play with multi-platform stuff between those systems. Sony continues playing its own game. And it's like, no, you have to get a Sony console to do multiplayer with other Sony people. They're just going to get left behind because everyone else plays together. So you can get whatever you want and play the games. Sony's the only one holding out. No one's going to buy Sony. Because they're like, why would I buy that when I can play with all of my other friends if I get, one of these other systems?
Right.
So all they're going to do is hurt themselves. Worst case scenario, they bankrupt. They're not going to bankrupt themselves, but they really hurt themselves financially. Best case scenario, they look good in promotional stuff for these games that, people aren't going to buy on Sony things anyway, but then can play with their friends, encouraging their friends who have those systems to buy the games they might not have bought otherwise because they can play it with friends that they wouldn't have been able to play with otherwise. Win-win. I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't get it. I guess that's the last thought on that. Now let's switch over to some Switch news. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. I don't know if this came out of TGS specifically, but there's an announcement for a new Picross game coming to the Switch. For those of you who don't know, Picross is a puzzle game. Essentially, it's kind of like Minesweeper, but you're trying to fill in the mines basically. There's two different colors, like orange and blue, and then you want to chip away at the stuff that's not mines, and then you fill out a puzzle or a drawing. They've had a ton of these games ever since apparently the Game Boy, which is kind of crazy. I didn't know it went back that far.
Oh wow!
This new game is called Picross S. It's going to have about 300 puzzles in it, which is like, I think that's almost 200 puzzles more than the Picross 3D game I played.
Oh.
It's priced at $8, $7.99, coming out September 28th. And the game will also include a local co-op play, so that's cool.
Nice.
Let's see. I kind of want to save like the last Switch news that we have here for the ending of the show because it's kind of sweet.
Okay.
So we'll do some Steam stuff. So Valve is going to add in review graphs, guys.
Ooh, yes.
Which are active now. I just saw them.
Oh, really? I
nice.
haven't taken a look at reviews yet.
Yeah, I was looking at Divinity 2 or Divinity Original Sin 2, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a review graph on it, which was interesting. I was kind of surprised by it.
Yeah. So the reason they put up these review graphs is because we talked about on the show before that people have gone and review bombed certain games if something has happened, kind of like the GTA 5 one. That's kind of like the most prominent one. And
Firewatch that just happened.
Oh yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Firewatch as well. So yeah, this shows when reviews received positive and negative during a timeline. So like, for instance, recently, if there was a lot of negative reviews, it will show that the negative reviews happen now as opposed to back then when it launched. And you could also read the reviews that came out during the timeline, so you can see like what they're talking about. Theoretically, this shows when review bomb occurs. Valve's Alden Kroll said that they thought about taking more hands-on approach but decided against it. Which kind of this really honestly this thing really blows my mind because this doesn't really solve Valve's problem of like reviews in general.
Right.
If they're still allowing these review bombs to occur, it doesn't really help. Valve does a lot of automation in the way they handle their customers. They don't really like. I've had a lot of problems with Valve customer support. There's like no number to call. There's like really nothing to do other than submit a ticket and then hope that someone gets back to you. And it blows my mind.
Well, I don't think there's an actual way to solve the problem. I think this is about as good as they can do because they've tried things in the past to like just change the way reviews work, which we've reported on before. And I think this is about the only way to like be fair about it. Because this doesn't get rid of the reviews or anything. This doesn't stop review bombing, but it lets people know, hey, all of these reviews that have just come in are probably review bombs. Be aware of that. And so when they're reading through them, they could be like, oh, okay, everything from this span of time is probably not accurate. So like you can still see them and understand what's happening. And you're not like stifling people's, freedom of speech or like having some big issue where where like you don't allow reviews on a game or something like that, or like make reviews not matter. But like this graph like helps keep track of, like if you have like 15,000 reviews for a game that came out yesterday, they're probably not terribly accurate because this is going to be like someone that played an hour and then made a review.
Right.
And if you have, like all positive reviews up until like a week ago, and then suddenly it's like 1,500 negative reviews, it's like what changed in this period? So you can click in actual different periods of reviews and see what the positive reviews for that day or that hour or whatever were, what the negative reviews for that time were, and it gives you better control over actually like tracking these review numbers and these well, I shouldn't say numbers, but these reviews and understand why they were positive or negative in that time. It could have been because of a new update that ruined the game or something like that. It's not just lifetime reviews and that's all you get.
Yeah.
I think it's smart.
Yeah. I agree. Because one thing that definitely that I like to do is I'll look up, if I'm interested in buying a game, I'll look up reviews from when it first came out and then kind of like sort of in between and then also the present. So this helps me like personally immensely. So you can just go in and just based on the timeline or whatever, it's just like Justin was saying, if there's like an update or a crappy update or even a good update that, fix things, it's just, it's just another layer of kind of research you can do on your game before you decide to, spend your hard-earned money for it. So, and again, it's also just again, like Justin was saying, it's probably the best way to just handle the whole review bomb situation without just taking down reviews, because then that's not good, so yeah, I feel like this is probably the best possible way they could have handled it. So
Yeah, it's just maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. You can personally just click on the reviews themselves and then scroll like through a list of them and sort them by date or sort them by whatever.
But you're not really getting a visual indication of that.
Yeah,
then.
sure. I'm just saying, like, this is just, it explores what Valve's line of thinking is, and it's automation. I know, like, that's just the way the world is going right now, is everything's going to be automated, and there's going to be real no hands-on approach to anything anymore, especially like customer service. Apparently,
but when you get thousands of reviews of something a day, like,
yeah, I know
you can't have like a team of people going through that. That's insane.
It's like I see this problem the same as YouTube's problem with like the way they review videos and which ones they claim are like monetizationable. That's a word.
Sure.
And which one's not like corporate friendly or whatever. So it just puts in my mind that like, oh yeah, Valve is just like YouTube with the way they automate everything.
But there's a major difference between those two things. This is just showing you the scale of things that are coming in and lets you decide, whether or not that means something to you. YouTube is kind of taking this same kind of information and using that to make automated judgment calls. So like, in the example of like Firewatch, let's go back to that. We're not going to touch on that story itself, but like in that example, obviously it was getting rave reviews when it first came out, and then suddenly it got review bombed. If they had taken that information, that automated information in the graph, and said, oh, well, we should take this game off the store because it's suddenly getting really negative reviews, then it would be like YouTube.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But does that affect
Do you see the difference?
The ratings and like where it sits in the way they sell the game to you, like promotional wise? I don't know that information. Like maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
To an extent, I mean, there's always things are always going to be on, like, there's the best sellers list, which completely negates reviews. There's the new releases, which is just literally a list of what games came out recently, things like that. There's going to be a top rated, sure, and it'll affect that. But I mean, you also like, I feel like again, there's no proper way to handle things like that because it is just a positive and negative. You have to change the people themselves. But at least they're not making these judgment calls like YouTube is. They're just presenting the information to you in a more digestible way so that you can go in and find, the more detailed stuff as you need.
It's always good to have more information on this stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it helps in the long run, but I don't know.
I mean, I think of it in a situation like No Man's Sky. Like that game, was getting decent reviews when it came out, and then immediately they went south. And now, like a year later, they've gotten a bunch of updates. Like people like it again, so the positive reviews are coming in.
Yeah.
So if you saw that graph, it would be like all over the place.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Yeah.
But you could see the actual change over time, and like maybe if you go like I don't know how detailed the graph is, but if it lets you like pick a span of time. And like it changes the review thing based on that. So if it's like, at launch, it's like mixed. And then like, you go 6 months down the line and it's like mostly positive. And then you go most recent, very positive. Like if it changes that based on like the section of graph that you pick, that's really useful information. Because you can tell this game was fixed over time. It's good now. Or vice versa.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're broken over time.
Sometimes they just don't improve, like Ark.
Yeah.
That game's out now.
Apparently.
Is it? It's official release now?
Oh, yeah.
No longer access?
Whatever that means.
Yeah. That game was never really on my radar, just from all the negative press and all the crap surrounding it.
I own it. I think it was like really cheap in a Humble Bundle once, but
I think I bought it and I intended to do some like videos with it, but I never did.
Yeah.
It's a cool premise. Really cool premise. I mean, dinosaurs? Shoot.
It's so jank, though.
I hear the end game is kind of cool. Like, they actually do get to the laser stuff, but you have to put in like 500 hours, and who has time for that shit?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
no. Not into that.
That's too much jank to play through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That game makes PUBG look polished.
Oh, for sure it does.
Oh boy.
Okay, let's head on into some TGS news, guys. You guys know what TGS is?
The girly show?
That's T.
Or son.
It's the Tokyo Game Show.
I was close.
The video game show that goes in Tokyo, becoming less relevant every year. It's kind of
Yup.
sad. I would like to go there someday, like just to Japan in general. That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got some cool news coming from there. A couple things. The most prominent thing that I saw was Left Alive. It's a new game coming from Square Enix. Game is coming from the Armored Core director Toshifumi Nabashima, and it features the character designs by Metal Gear character designer Yoki Shinkawa. And also includes talent from Final Fantasy Xenoblade Chronicles X. This game is teased for 2018, released on the PS4. There's not really too much to talk about, other than there was a trailer that went down a hall, came up from a hall and then zoomed and panned around, and then you saw a broken city, like a destroyed city, with helicopters dropping in mechs.
They did announce this game takes place in the same universe as Armored Core, though.
Okay.
It's not an Armored Core game, but like it's in that that
Same
world.
universe. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I never really got into the Armored Core series. Like I think I tried a little bit once, like Armored Core 4, but it was really never my thing.
They're cool games. They're for a specific kind of player.
Yeah.
I would have played more of it, Armored Core 4. I just was freaking horrible at it. So I would just always watch my brother play it because there's a lot of moving parts, like literally, just because you like literally piece together mechs and stuff, and it's just the balance with all the parts and stuff like that. Cool game. It's just not for everybody, but this looks pretty interesting. I'd like to see more on this.
You could clearly tell that like the designs, or at least the sketches, are from the artist from Metal Gear. And
Oh yeah,
it really shows.
Oh yeah.
I've always been more of a mech assault guy. Like I'm a lot more fast paced action. Like I don't really like the slow moving mech stuff. Like I'm more like put me in a battle suit and I'll jack this mech, which is why I like Titanfall a little bit more.
I was like custom robo guy.
Oh, good game. Good game.
Yeah.
That's another one I wasn't very good at, but really cool game.
Just the customization aspects. Like if I would get into a mech, I want to be able to modify it.
Man, wouldn't it be cool if they had a custom robo for the Switch? I'd like to see that. I'd love to see that.
There's only been 2 games in that series. They need more.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about custom robo until I played Melee, and I was like, "What's this trophy? It's this cool looking robot guy. Where'd this custom robo? Never heard of that." And then
it's great.
Then I played it on GameCube. Yeah. Really cool game.
Cool. There was also a new gun Gary announced. I didn't write this in here because I couldn't find the story for it, but there was a new one announced. It's like a VR thing. There's a couple other VR things coming. There's
Zone of the Enders?
Yep, Zone of the Enders
VR.
Yeah,
Second Runner remastered.
Yeah.
Coming with
The
VR.
cultists of the cultists coming back for HD remaster.
That second game was pretty cool though. The first one was like, yeah, all right, I see what you're doing. Then the second one, I like the second one a lot. The VR.
Is it good though?
I've never played it, so I don't have no idea.
Because like I feel like I want to like it because they did a HD port of it for the PS3.
Get the second one.
For the second one only?
The second one's better. Okay. I think actually I'm not even sure what the HD remaster includes. It might include both of them.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, it does? Okay. The second one's definitely the better of the two. Because the first one, I don't know.
What is it?
The first, it's like what is it exactly?
Is it like a mech shooter?
Yeah, it's kind of mech shooter, kind of almost spectacle fighter, sort of. Just lots of real quick combos zipping back and forth and stuff like that. Oh, damn. Real fast-paced kind of stuff, but really cool game. But the first one, it kind of feel like they kind of made that with the intention to just include with the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo, which it came with when it released. That's pretty much what it was for. But the second one, it kind of like sort of started becoming more of like an official game. The first one kind of felt like more of like a tech demo or something like that. But second one's really cool. It's pretty cool. I suggest trying it if you like mech stuff and really weird stories and stuff like that. because the story for this is definitely kind of weird.
It was Kojima's side project that he just did while he was doing Metal Gear.
He's like, oh, here you go. Yeah, let's put the demo in there too. Cool. Have fun, guys.
Yeah, I might want to check that out because I've always been a big fan of Kojima's work with Metal Gear, so
yeah,
I've always wanted to check that out. Speaking of more PSVR, there's the Nico Atsume cat collecting sim game.
Tiny cat buttholes.
You can put your face right in that butthole.
Or I could just actually. Well, I was gonna say I could put my cat's butthole in my face, but he does that plenty without my pushing. He just comes right up and like kind of backs up right in your face. Push him away and he backs up again. Cats are great.
Yeah, they are.
The point is, I don't need to do it in VR. I get enough of it in real life.
I did play. I still quote unquote play the mobile game.
I've never played the mobile game. I've never met a person that played it.
It's. I wouldn't even really call it a game. It's just more like a checkup status. You open it up. I don't know how this is gonna translate to VR, but basically you open it up, and like cats will show up, and so like you'll leave food, and then like you can get like money and stuff. Like they'll leave you things you can buy to like expand the place. Aw, kitty.
Oh.
We're talking about cats.
And so like you can buy like little sets. So like when you go away, like I'll turn it on for a little bit and then they'll go away. You come back and like you'll see one of them playing with the ball. You see one of them with like a magic hat on. You'll see one of them eating. There's always a fat one named Tubbs who would always eat the damn food. But seriously, like as an iPhone, as a mobile game, quote unquote game, it was very just like, oh, I'm gonna check this.
Oh,
did it actually meow?
Yeah, it must have.
Oh, I thought I was just doing a voice.
No, she's not happy.
Oh. But no, if you want just something like, just check out Nekomatsumi. I don't know why you would want this in VR though.
Right.
For the crazy cat people, so they can enjoy their virtual cats as well as the real cats.
But crazy cat people are not going to be able to play it on VR because they're spending all their money on cat food.
Plus, in VR, you can step on your cats.
Right. Step on your real life cat. Oh, we don't want that at all.
You always have to be looking around when you have cats in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
I stepped on my cat once and it was really bad.
Yeah, I do that sometimes.
I always
Their
feel
tails
horrible.
go all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also just play Cat Lateral Damage on PC. That's a pretty great game. And it's VR.
You just knock stuff over.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. What else do we have here? Monster Hunter World has a release date, January 26, 2018. That's worldwide. Look forward to that.
Cool.
They also have Final Fantasy IX coming to PlayStation 4. I think it's already out.
It's out now.
Yeah.
Represent.
Right now.
There we go.
Ooh.
This is basically the PC port from last year, but it has trophy support, which, I mean, the PC port has, the
Steam
achievements.
Achievements. It has 7 booster features, which the PC port has boosters, but I don't think it has 7 of them.
I love that it does. And
I know of 3. Because you go into the menu and you can max out your gil, you can master your weapons and stuff, which it says this has. And then there was one other one, I can't remember what it is. But then this says it has things like a high-speed mode, which I think you can do. And of encounters, which I never did, but you might be able to do it. So I'm not sure if maybe they added some boosters, but as far as I know, it's the same version that's on PC. It's just coming to PS4 now. But, if you're a console gamer and never played this, check it out. It's great. And then watch the Final Fantasy IX story play. Shameless plug. Next year.
On the YouTube channel, Zero Score.
Yeah. Ben and Lo are in it. Thomas did an
am?
audition, so screw him.
I still need to play the game.
Yeah?
Wait, what? What? What?
I don't know.
Happening?
I'm confused.
I don't know.
I guess I should. I want to play Final Fantasy IX, but I'm worried I won't like it, and then everybody will hate me. And the last thing I need for me, my self-deprecating sense of person, is for more people to hate me. So I'm just not gonna play Final Fantasy 9 out of principle.
Just watch it.
There you go.
But yeah, but I want to play it though. That's different.
I mean, like,
Then
the
play
best stuff is the cinematics in it. It's a beautiful game.
Yeah, but I want to. If I play a Final Fantasy game, I want to appreciate its turn-based RPG combat, and I feel like I won't like it.
I mean, it has
Just
great
play-
combat too. It's more of like kind of the classic, like almost job-based system, but you can't change jobs. Each person just has their own like set. Like there's the the black mage, the white mage, the summoner, the thief, the knight.
So Final Fantasy 4.
Yes. It goes back to that classic fantasy style after, 2 games of like futuristic, like emo stuff.
Future emo. That's my new garage band name.
Femo.
Any
That's the
other?
thing.
Was there any other TGS news you want to talk about? Or you want to go right into the tribute?
You said Shadow of the Colossus
No,
trailer?
No.
Oh yeah.
The Shadow of the Colossus remake got a new trailer. Noctis was announced for Dissidia Final Fantasy NT.
And no one was shocked.
Nope. Dragon's Crown HD or Pro, I guess, was announced for PS4 with 4K support.
That was a fun game. I played that.
That's pretty much it.
All right.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 9 is the big one. Let's be honest.
Yeah, isn't it getting a physical release later?
I don't think so.
Okay. I could have sworn it was getting a physical release, or maybe it was just a digital re-release.
I mean, it already got a physical release. It was called the PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Okay.
Which I still own, by the way.
You want that
Nice.
that Street Fighter 2 re-release, right?
$40 to play Final Fantasy 9 again. It's already 20 for digital.
All right.
It's still kind of ridiculous.
Let's move on to the Switch, and it holds a secret.
A secret.
Da-na-na-na.
Nice.
For
Brilliant.
yeah, so it holds a secret or a secret tribute to Iwata. This is a really interesting story. So essentially what they have here is that the Switch is encoded with the game Golf in it, and
Like the original NES game, Golf.
yeah, and an NES emulator. And the way they kind of like stumbled upon this, the internet, like trust the internet, something will happen. They found a way through it was that someone claimed they actually played the game at one point, like it was just on their Switch and they were playing it for a bit, and then after that, someone else claimed that they found the word flog, which they like for some reason they thought that meant golf. But here's the real like they found the word flog in the Switch code, and then here's the real kicker that like actually set it off was that there's a modder named Yellows 8 that actually found the emulator and the game through a memory access. I'm not even sure what that actually means, but I guess it's through like
It's basically scanning the data like hard coded onto the system.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, they found the game
from the RAM, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the emulator through that. They haven't been able to replicate it yet. And the reason why is that you need to have this game not connected to the internet at all. And it needs to be on July 11th, which is, I think that was the date that Iwata passed away.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And you also have to do a motion that Iwata is very famous for, and it's the directly to you motion.
With the Joy-Con.
With the
So if you hold
Joy-Cons.
one in each hand and do that motion
Yeah.
at boot up, first time you've booted up because you can't be connected to the Wi-Fi yet, and your system is set to July 11th. Very specific stuff.
Yeah.
That's really specific.
So yeah, that's crazy. Like we'll have to find out next year if someone can actually do this.
Yeah, this is supposed to be July 11th, 2018. So I wonder if they're actually going to like make that available on that day for everyone.
That'd be sick. That would be cool.
Because for those that don't know, like Golf was a game that he kind of like created in a way.
Yeah.
Because back in the day they had developed this game, but they couldn't figure out how to get all 18 holes
Yeah.
into the game,
Mhm.
like onto the NES cartridge. And Iwata like you know, messed with the code, like compressed some stuff and made it all fit onto the cartridge.
Yeah.
Which he's done multiple times. He was also the one that like made Wind Waker possible, I think, back in the day.
Oh, and gold and silver to have Kanto in it.
Right. That was another big example. So he's kind of infamous for like making games work within the confines of what they're supposed to do. So it's like this was kind of the first time he did that, and so they put it into the Switch as kind of an homage to his legacy.
It's so cool.
And named the emulator that runs it, which only runs this, Flog.
That's awesome. That is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Like, because it's really funny because recently I had learned from a buddy of mine that you can actually like take your RAM, your random access memory, and partition some of it, and make what's called a RAM disk. So sounds like that's what they did, that's pretty sweet. And then just, oh man, this is really cool.
Yeah, and this is encoded in every single Switch that that gets made. Like
that is so rad.
This is so. Yeah. It's such a great tribute to the master.
And unfortunately, I feel like this is something that was supposed to just like come out next year, on July 11th, and now like the mystery's been spoiled, which is sad, because like it would be really cool just like suddenly July 11th is like everyone can play NES Golf with like a tribute to Iwata in there.
Yeah,
but it's nice to think about. And like I think having it all discovered in advance is just like you see how much went into this rather than just like having it come out and be a thing.
Yeah, I like the story that it leads up to, like,
yeah.
And also you have like all these dedicated, passionate like fans and whatnot, like breaking it down and trying to figure out what's going on.
It's like National Treasure, but way cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
so
man,
Nick Cage is Iwata. So
as a PC exclusive gamer, I'd have to say my favorite console so far is the freaking Switch. I don't own anything, but just from everything, just all this news and stories, just ever since it came out, and just now this really, it was already like over the top. This is like way more over the top for me.
Yeah, the PS4 and the Xbox are like measuring dicks, while Nintendo is just like being cool in the corner, just doing his own thing.
Exactly. It's like they're not even really like, I mean, they are trying obviously, but it's like almost like they're not, just because they're not all like try hard, like I don't know, like Microsoft and Sony have been, they're really like doing their own thing, and it's really working out for them. And just it's a phenomenal thing. It's a great thing. It really is.
To play off your analogy, I think of it like Microsoft and Sony are the ones at the gym, like in the locker room, like really self-conscious, like with their towels on, like kind of walking through, like, rushing into the shower real quick. And Nintendo is the old guy that just like walks around the locker room naked, like, hey, how you doing? Puts his leg up on the...
exactly it. Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's like, I don't care about you guys. I'm gonna do what I want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hang out with my Switch out.
There's the title of the show, folks. I think with that, we'll call that a show. What do you guys say?
Yep.
It's a pretty good ending spot.
Justin, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me at Zero Score on most of the places. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Actually, pretty much just those. Yeah, that's about it. Also here, of course.
Okay. Lo.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Near the Hero, N3R0, THEH3R0. You can also find me on YouTube, Near the Hero, just spelled with letters. You can also find me here. I'm planning on doing some more streaming for Charge Shot in the near future, because I've just gotten all my streaming stuff dialed in, and I'm really excited about it. It's like, oh, streaming, it's this whole big, beautiful new thing to me now. So yeah, we're gonna be having some stuff coming for you guys soon. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's where you guys can find me.
Nice. And Ben.
Twitter.com/MarvelZiggy for all things concerning the self-proclaimed Marvelous One. For all you actual Marvelous Ones, Freedom Planet has officially been recorded. It's all done. I apologize for the late upload. It's all edited. I wake up in the morning, and I'll get at the bus stop. Oh shit, I forgot to upload the episode. Fuck. And so it's just I'm pretty much probably gonna do is this coming Monday after the time of this recording, is just upload them all on one single day and just schedule them, and then they'll be out, and then you won't hear from me for another 2 to 3 months. And I apologize for the lack of Marvelous Fights. I know I said it was gonna be weekly. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked out for me because that Street Fighter 2 hype kind of fell off right after I finished recording. I was like, well, shit, that didn't help. But thankfully,
your obsession with a Marvel game would probably be a good thing to do marvelous fights with.
Well, unfortunately, I don't
There's
have a
an
good way of
idea.
capturing it. Like, I couldn't get OBS to read MVCI for some reason. But to pick up for that, I will be doing the ideas is to basically just I'll record off the Switch. So now that Poken's out, I'm gonna have a 3-game rotation. Well, starting with Street Fighter 2, Arms. I'm gonna be maining the Clown Girl just to freak Justin out. I know, and it's not gonna affect Justin because I know Justin doesn't watch my videos. And finally, Pokken Tournament DX came out as of today, as I talked earlier. So that's going to go in the rotation. And then, if I can figure out how to capture stuff on my PC effectively, then I'll, put some Street Fighter 5, MVCI, Killer Instinct stuff. But for now, those 3 are the games. It's just a matter of sitting down and actually recording ranked matches.
All right, cool. I guess you can find me, your host Thomas, at CSG Thomas on Twitter. You can also email me, thomas@charshot.com. Email me with your questions, comments, compliments, concerns. Trying to think of other words.
Thomas had too much beer.
Yeah, Thomas had too much malt liquor. Yeah, you can email me there. You can also check out the website, chartshot.com, for all our cool stuff. Me and Lo are planning to do some more videos in the future. Maybe bring back some stuff that we've worked on before. So take a look forward to that. Hoping to get some more content up. If you want to leave us a comment on the show, you can go ahead and do that. Feedback is very much appreciated. It helps us grow and learn and see what else you guys want to see from us in the future. Until then, guys, enjoy your games.
Bye. It's a little delayed.